In our top story tonight, we take a deep dive into the Whiteside County justice system. Now, as a warning, this story deals with sexual assault and child pornography. Back in November, we showed you 6 child sexual assault cases in the county where defendants were given nearly identical plea deals involving 0 jail time. Joining us live in studio is News 8's Nina Burns, who continues our special report.
Thank you, Shelby. Tonight, we look at 3 different criminal cases in Whiteside County. Those include Justin Reyes, Dustin Zimmerman, and the closed case of Edson Lira. These 3 cases provide 3 different insights into Whiteside County State's Attorney's Terry Costello's prosecution. What's your biggest fear with how this ends?
That I went through all this pain and all this for nothing.
In 2018, at 13 years old, Patty Teague reported her sexual assault in Whiteside County. Nearly 5 years later, her case still waits trial.
I felt like I was suffering, and I felt like his life kept going.
The alleged perpetrator, her brother-in-law, Justin Reyes, charged with 2 Class X felonies for predatory criminal sexual assault and 1 Class 2 felony for aggravated criminal sexual assault. Whiteside County State's Attorney Terry Costello is the prosecutor on her case, someone she says she's met with once in the last 5 years.
That was after he had already pushed probation.
Probation is not an option for Patty.
He still continued to list all the benefits of probation, that he would have to pay for my therapy and he'd be on the list and all this other stuff, but I don't need therapy right now. I need justice.
Patty's mother, Amy, has stood by her daughter during her 5-year legal battle.
Does it feel like, in a way, your case isn't being prosecuted?
It does. And, you know, we have that feeling every single time that it gets continued.
Patty's case continued 26 times according to court records.
I did feel 100% that the sheriff's department did their job in the beginning. And it really just baffled me when we brought these things to light since then, and nothing had happened.
In my eyes, the state's attorney should be the best attorney in Whiteside County. We don't have that. Not even close.
Whiteside County Sheriff John Booker has been in law enforcement within the county for 32 years.
We're frustrated. A lot of cases are getting dismissed. A lot of charges aren't being filed that the officer believes were justified to charge the suspect with. And it's frustrating. Frustrating that we see cases dismissed or plea agreements without the officers ever being talked to, without victims being spoke to about a plea agreement.
The state's attorney's prosecution affecting his department.
The deputies, I hear them all the time, well, why should we make this arrest? They're going to dismiss it or plead it down to something. I said, well, our job is to make arrests, investigate crimes, and that's what we'll do.
Do you fear that residents of Whiteside County are going to lose faith in the justice system?
I think that's already happened in our county. I've had picketers out in front of the courthouse. That has never been done in Whiteside County history, and the people are fed up.
We've attempted to receive comment from Costello since August of 2022. On June 26, 2023, we finally received that comment, saying in part, quote, "As state's attorney, I seek justice. Seeking justice means filing charges that are supported by the evidence obtained. It also means not filing a case where the evidence is lacking. And, quote, reasonable efforts are made to consult with victims of violent crimes." Concluding, quote, "The decisions I am required to make are based on the law and the duty to seek justice. These decisions cannot be emotionally driven." But Patty's case isn't the only case involving predatory allegations pending in the county.
From a law enforcement standpoint, how serious is a Class X felony?
That's the most serious offense you can be charged with is Class X.
Here I have the case of a Mr. Dustin Zimmerman. In 2017, he received 39 charges, 36 of which were Class X felonies. Now, those range from possessing and exhibiting porn of a child under 13, child porn involving an animal, sadistic and fettered child pornography, and that list goes on for 39 charges. But I presume you have to have quite a bit of evidence to give 39 charges.
Yeah, and the state's attorney's office are the ones that have to file those charges. So there's factors that support why those charges are being filed. So yes, most definitely very solid evidence if you have that many cases being filed.
Dustin Zimmerman's case is open to this day. Zimmerman appeared in custody at the end of March 2017. 8 days later, posting $20,000 bond. he's been out since.
7 years for any case is unacceptable.
Records show his case sits at 41 continuances, the latest happening in April of 2023, where the court granted a 3-month-long continuance. The pattern of continuing child victim cases date back to cases that are closed. Take the case of Edson Lira, a man charged back in 2015 with 3 felonies involving predatory sexual assault. That case spanned from 2015 to 2022, continued 51 times during that stretch. There are 2 key players here. That's State's Attorney Terry Costello and Defense Attorney James Murtis. We sat down with Murtis, who upholds Lira's innocence to this day.
I've been practicing 31 and a half years, and I know Terry Costello to be a person who fulfills the special responsibilities of a prosecutor.
Right here, I do have a court transcript from a pretrial hearing on December 1st of 2021. This is right before Edson Lira's jury trial is set to start in 6 days. Mr. Murtis saying, now what I'm hearing is Mr. Costello met with the victim for the first time yesterday, and we have this situation. That situation is State's Attorney Terry Costello meeting with the alleged victim 6.5 years into this case. The alleged victim changed part of her statement, a statement Mr. Costello admits he didn't listen to. Costello saying, it sounds like the court is concerned about how close we are to the trial date, and the court, aren't you concerned? Mr. Costello, yes I am. I think we're all concerned. Murtis pointing out Costello continued the case back in August over strenuous objection, saying, it's been set for a 4-day jury trial twice before, Your Honor. If the court continues it today, it will be the second time the court has continued the case on the eve of trial on the motion of the state with significant surprise to the defense, and that should have some consequence. Murtis outright asking the court for consequences against Costello, saying if those consequences are borne by the government that waited until yesterday to meet with their victim in a case that stems from a 6.5-year-old allegation, well, that's for the court to determine. The court grants Costello's motion to continue, saying, I, too, am disappointed that we are not able to proceed to jury trial next week on this case. This case is 5 to 6 years old, and it's a very serious case, not only for the defendant, but also for the victim. Court records show that 14 days later, they continued the case until the end of that month. 2 months later, continued again. On March 8th, Murtis and Costello conducted a phone conference. That same day, Costello entered the judge's chambers and dismissed Lira's case entirely.
Terry Costello is honest, he is ethical, and in the end, the Edson Lira charges were completely dismissed. That was justice.
We want justice. We want justice. We want justice. We want justice. We want justice.
We urge you to remember there are distinct roles in the criminal justice system. While state's prosecutors are supposed to defend and protect alleged victims, defense attorneys follow a constitutional responsibility to provide effective assistance to alleged perpetrators. To this very moment, we do not know the reason behind Edson Lira's dismissal. Back to you, Shelby.
All right, wonderful reporting, Nina. Aside from the email you just saw, State's Attorney Costello has not provided any further comment or interview.